there, my spooky scary skeletons. It's Chloe in real life, and welcome back to another episode of my Halloween Spooktacular. Today I am coming to you from the Charles M. Schulz Theater stage. We are on the stage, guys. We are not the audience, and it's crazy to be on this stage because I'm always watching Beach Blanket Beagle and all the fun Scary Farm shows, and I'm always wondering what would it be like to be on the stage, and I'm actually here, and my little theater nerd within me is freaking out. I love it. So there's going to be some really fun stuff in this video, but be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any more of my Halloween Spooktacular. And are you ready to find out a little bit more about what's new at Knott's Scary Farm by interviewing some totally awesome people from the team at Knott's Scary Farm? Let's check it out. Hey there, guys. I am here with the totally awesome Eric Nix. Oh my gosh. Hi. And you are a creative producer for Knott's Scary Farm and Knott's Scary Farm.
I am.
So The Hanging is coming back, obviously. A loved show. I love it. Everyone loves it. But this year it's going to be a little different because it's actually tied into the scare zone, the Ghost Town Scare Zone,
right,
and the new maze Origins.
Yes.
So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so Ken and I have really, we want to create immersive environments here at Scary Farm, and when we look at that, we wanted to bring together for the first time a maze, a scare zone, and a show that is all telling the same mythology and the same narrative. And really this year when we approached John and Ted to work on Origins, we thought that this was the perfect fit. This was an opportunity of a lifetime to be able to, one, tell the origin story of Sarah Marshall and the witch. Then you get to see the remnants of that curse and out on the street and where those monsters came from. And you get to see, like the title says, the origins of some of those characters and how they became who they are out on the street.
Cool.
And then what's very unique is because we have the hanging, and the original hangings were all based on 1800s. It was about the Sarah Marshall trial and her being hung and then turning into this witch and cursing the town. Well, this year we're taking a little bit of a twist on it, and it will be her sisters, her coven, that are seeking revenge on the lawman and the hangman this year for doing what they did to Sarah Marshall.
That's awesome, but are we still going to get the comedy that we know and love from The Hanging?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
You can't have Scary Farm without the hanging and that lampooning of pop culture. It'll be brought about on a different scale this year,
cool.
and the coven will kind of open up a portal and summon these characters into this world. And so we're really playing it. The beginning of the show will be very 1800s, and then we'll get to hanging the most egregious offender of the year. So
that's awesome. And then obviously Origins is talking about the past of the town of Calico, and since everyone loves the town of Calico and it's become this big thing that people are so involved in with Ghost Town Alive, is this going to affect Ghost Town Alive in any way? Does it still fall into the lore and the history of Ghost Town Alive?
Absolutely. We have talked about it. There are some direct connections. You will see some characters like the deputy mayor, the Judge Roy Bean. He will be part of the maze. So you will see characters kind of in a different state, though, and how the curse is ravaging them.
Oh, well, I'm very excited to check it out. And it's only Scary Farm's only 3 weeks away.
3 weeks from today, and we are ready for you.
Freaking out. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll see you in the fog.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, guys, so I am here with the awesome and talented John Cooke and Ted Dougherty. So you guys are the great minds behind Origins, which is a brand new maze here at Scary Farm, and I can't wait for this. This is honestly unlike anything we've ever seen. So, can you tell us a little bit about what Origins is, what we can expect from it, and how it's going to scare us?
Well, Origins is the genesis on how the world-famous Knott's Scary Farm monsters came to exist from Ghost Town.
That's so cool. That's awesome.
It's literally it's so amazing to be able to tell the history of this attraction. We feel so honored to be able to do that, and it's something we didn't take lightly at all. We wanted to really make sure we were paying the correct homage to the people that started this event and came up with all these cool characters and stories. So that's where we wanted to start our maze, was right after the original witch hanging. So it's as if that ended and our maze begins.
That's awesome. So obviously you're really going back to your roots with this one, going back to the original Scary Farm like 46 years ago, which is crazy to think about. But is there anything that you've pulled from past years or the beginning of Scary Farm to implement into this maze? Is there, like, where does the maze take place? Can you tell us a little bit about, like, what we can expect to see?
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of history from the past that is taking place, and we're built upon these amazing historical landmarks and characters that we've come to grow and love over the years.
Right, and what better kind of content to tap into than the longest running show in Knott's Scary Farm's history. So years before, it was a very serious, dark show that revolved around this woman back in 1885 that was accused of all the strange and bizarre things going on in Calico. So she proclaimed her innocence, but they apprehended her, dragged her up to the gallows, and she was found guilty of witchcraft. And so
crazy.
They tried to hang her, but it didn't work, and she spit out this terrible curse onto the citizens, and that is where this maze begins.
And speaking of the history, is this maze takes place in the heart of Ghost Town. And we really wanted to use that existing landmarks to the maze. So our maze experience actually begins in the queue, which is Bootville Cemetery.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, so you queue through there, and as you're in that queue, there are characters that are out there interacting, and they're trying to set you up. They want to put it in your head that it's your job to go find this witch. So you're part of the angry mob going through the streets of Calico to try and find this witch.
That's so cool. So I really love how you're taking, like, almost the intimacy of getting to experience and talk to these characters from Ghost Town Alive and bringing that into this maze. So Origins is the story about the lore and the history of the Green Witch, which is an iconic character. Is there by any chance that we might be able to experience other stories with maybe the bride or the sheriff or some of the other totally beloved characters of Ghost Town?
We're not going to give away spoilers, but I can say that there'll be several subtle nods to Knott's Scary Farm's past and tons of Easter eggs peppered throughout the experience. And so that way, no matter if you've been going to the event since way back when in 1973 or discovering it for the first time, there's going to be a lot to entertain and scare the heck out of people.
But to answer your question, yes, we're paying tribute to the monsters of present, past, and we created some new ones, future, and even folklore.
Yes.
Ooh, well, I'm very excited. Thank you so much, and I cannot wait to check it out. It's going to be awesome. See you there. Hey there, guys. We are currently inside the Bizarre Bazaar with the totally awesome Mr. Gus Krueger. Tell us a little bit. You have a piece here, so tell us a little bit about your piece.
Well, for the last several years, I've been fortunate enough to be the scenic designer for the hanging. So I've done the sets, so I've gotten really familiar with, it's the hanging. So I've been working on the show for a long time, and for the last this is our second year of the End of the Fog art show, and last year I did a piece based on my maze, Dark Entities. I'm a really big goofball in the sense that I love collecting old action figures in the old Star Wars scale. So I've got way too many, and my wife's probably very ashamed to have me in her life. But hey, these things happen. But when the art show came around last year, I really wanted to do something fun, so I made a set of action figures based on my maze at the time, Dark Entities. And then we came around to the Boysenberry Festival art show, and that time I did I wanted to keep it going, so I did a Walter Knott action figure, and I did Handsome Brady and Whiskey Bill. And that was fun. But for this year, I wanted to do something different, so I always try to make a cool little shadow box display of it, but because I've done so much with the hanging, it felt really fun to just sort of go and make a miniature gallows, and that's what I did.
That's so cool.
So what I usually do is I'll take, because I have way too many old toys and I know way too much about them, I know what to use as a base. So there's a little bit of like taking old toys and sort of cutting them apart, Frankensteining them together. So they're created from a combination of old toys, new toys in the classic style, and then I add I sculpt on top of that and then
cool.
sand it down, smooth it all out, and paint it. The gallows was just I went over to a friend's house because he has a garage in his wood shop, and we built it in a night. We just put together a gallows. So
That's so cool. Well, it looks fantastic. And can you tell us about the background?
the background, yeah. Another thing I like to do, the piece itself, it's it's a one-of-a-kind piece, but I do like to still do a separate piece of art. And again, this goes back to me growing up and loving this type of toy, and honestly, the vintage advertisement for the toy. That's what those are based on. You can't really get a sense there, but it's really a throwback to late 1970s, early 80s toy advertisings. So it just, it shows the hanging Creeptastic action figures. There's prints available where you get to actually see what it looks like. But yeah, it's fun. It shows. I'm just having fun making toys.
Super fun.
But it really is a labor of love, and I get to do Halloween. I get to work on the hanging in a way that's fun. But yeah, I just love doing it. And
that's awesome.
It's just another way I get to create fun stuff for the park,
so
and it's cool.
Well, go buy prints and go buy the piece. Go buy it. Alright guys, so that was a sneak preview of what you can expect from Knott's Scary Farm 2019. I am so excited. I cannot wait for Origins. The hanging is going to be so much fun, and I know you guys are going to love it. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a like, comment, don't forget to subscribe. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a spooky video just like this one. I will see you all next time, and don't forget to stay spooky. Bye!